I normally tell my followers that if you want to consider any international teaching job, you should always make sure that the job offer makes enough sense financially and enough sense emotionally. My name is David Wilson. I'm from Ghana. I've been teaching here in Vietnam for the past 5.5 years. And if you are doing a research about teaching in Vietnam and how much you can possibly save as an expat teacher, then you are watching the right video, because this is what I'm going to talk about here. In this video, I'm going to talk about how much can an expat teacher save here in Vietnam. Let's get started. Before I begin the video, I'd like to briefly talk about salaries here in Vietnam. The salaries here in Vietnam ranges, and it depends on so many factors such as your qualifications, your experience, where you are teaching, the subject you are teaching, and a whole lot of factors. But for the purposes of this video, to make things very simple, we will choose a net salary of 50 million VND. That is equivalent to $2,000 at the time of making this video. So to simplify things, we are going to work with a net salary of $2,000 US. How much you can save depends on so many factors such as rent, food, transport, miscellaneous, your spending habits. Of course, it depends on so many factors, but I'll just use my expenses to give you an idea of how much you can save. So let's get started with rent. Currently, I live in a 2-bedroom apartment with my wife and 1-year-old daughter. This apartment is an 80 square meter 2-bedroom apartment, and the rent we pay covers a cleaning lady that comes here twice in a week to clean the place. It covers water that we use in the apartment, and it also covers internet. And the rent we pay here is 12,200,000 VND, which is equivalent to $480 at the time of making this video. The electricity we pay here depends on how much we use in a month. And normally during the summers, we do tend to put on the ACs for a very long time. So we tend to pay more electricity during summers. And the highest we've paid so far is about $120. And the lowest we've paid is about $60. But for the purposes of this video, let's limit the electricity bill at $100 every month. So the amount I pay for electricity every month here in Hanoi, Vietnam, as an expat teacher in a 2-bedroom apartment is $100 US at the time of making this video. You can see I have a little notebook here, so I'll be making reference to it as we go. So I mentioned I have a 1.5-year-old daughter. We have a nanny that takes care of the baby when we are away at work, and normally how much we spend on the nanny is around $240 in a month. This amount sometimes reduces depending on how many hours she works in a month, and sometimes it goes above a bit, but let's just limit it at $240 in a month. And food, how much we spend on food depends on how often we eat out. And normally I cook at home, and we don't eat out a lot. The amount we spend on food ranges between 6 million to 8 million VND, which is equivalent to 240 to 315 US. But for the purposes of this video, let's go with the high amount, that is 315 US. So that is how much we spend on food here in Hanoi, Vietnam every month. And this includes we eating out. We normally, if we are to eat out in a month, we don't normally eat more than 3 times outside in a month. So you should just consider that. And also, I do not drink alcohol. My wife does not drink alcohol. So that also helps us to save a lot. But that is how much we spend on food every month. For transport, I have a Yamaha NVX motorbike, and how much fuel I buy in a month depends on how much I move the bike. If I play football very often in the month, I tend to move the bike a lot, and of course I'll be paying more for fuel. But on the average, I would say I spend about $20 in a month on fuel. So yeah, that covers everything. The $20 that I pay for fuel covers my transport to school, to and fro every day, and how often I go out to play football in a week. And at most that is like twice in a week, but at least that is once in a week. And I normally drive I drive about 20 to 25 minutes to work, and that makes it like 15 minutes. So let's say 1 hour drive every day. And the football pitches that I play on, the distance ranges, or the duration ranges between 15 to 30 minutes. But yeah, that is how much I spend on fuel, about $20. It's about 500k on fuel. My wife uses the bus system, and she buys the bus card, monthly pass, which is around $15, no, $12, $13. It's 280k VND, but that comes from her wallet, so I'll not add it to these expenses. But for my expenses, I spend about $20 on fuel. That is it's even more, but I'll just limit it at $20 for the purposes of this video. Now, the last thing I would like to talk about is miscellaneous expenses. That would include me shopping for perfumes, or maybe dresses for my baby or myself, or buying shirts or slippers for my daughter or my wife, or sending money back home, as remittances. Let's say this amount, the amount I spend on this miscellaneous stuff or expenses, let's peg it at $200. This obviously ranges depending on how much I spend on these things in a month, but normally it's around $200 or sometimes less. But let's say $200 I spend on miscellaneous every month. So these are my expenses. We have rent, light, money for nanny, the food, transport, and the miscellaneous. If you do all the calculations and subtract all these expenses from the $2,000 salary, the amount that remains is $645. So if you live a life like I live on a $2,000 income here in Vietnam, you'll be able to save at least $645 every month. This value obviously is on the low, because if you live frugally every month, you can easily save way more than that. You can even save up to $1,000. But I'm just trying to make this as easy as possible. So if you come here as a teacher and you earn $2,000 and you spend like I spend, like I've explained here in this video, you'll be able to save at least $645 every month. I hope you found value in this video. If you did, I would appreciate you hit the like button, subscribe, and then share this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And I would see you in my next video. You take care. Bye-bye.